So, I'm going to teach you, possibly if my head is actually in frame, which may not be, how to make a tote bag. Super duper easy. It's like the easiest thing ever, is what I say, and I might be lying to you, but I'm fairly certain it's super easy. So for this particular tutorial, what you will need is fabric of some sort. I choose canvas. Canvas is my fabric choice, and it's just really easy to work with. You will need a piece of white printer paper that you can fold up to make a pattern, just a square, super easy. A pair of scissors, preferably a sewing machine. I cannot imagine doing this by hand, but preferably a sewing machine, right? And whatever type of handle that you wish to have. And that's it. It could be as cheap or as expensive as you want to be. First step of this is your giant piece of fabric, and you've got to make these edges not break. This stuff just comes apart. Drives me crazy. Now you fold it in, and then fold it over again. I suggest you use pins. I'm not going to because I'm baller like that. Don't need to use them. The fabric's really stiff, which is why I actually made it. Make grease. Make grease again. Alright, I'm not working. Like, I'm gonna do that. And then I have my needle positioned in the middle. Because I want it to be really close to the edge. You good? You good? I'm talking to them. Okay, and what you're going to want to do is put that little extra thing up. You're doing this on the long side, and it should look like that. You can kind of see it's finished. There's no little crazy bits coming out. You're going to do that to both of the long sides. Don't do it to the short sides because we're actually going to do something different with those. With both of these sides done, we're going to do the top part. The top part, just like the sides, hold down a little bit of a tab here. Kind of go like that. There's a reason behind this because we're going to actually make it deeper at the top here to really do like a nice lip. Doesn't make any sense. Shut up! YouTube telling me how to do my business. Anyways, mean. So there you go. And then when you sew that on, it's going to have the same effect as that. And say we're just doing the, again, pin this. It's generally suggested that you pin it. Because otherwise, you can also measure. But yeah, I'm doing it the fast and easy way. Put it lined up there. Back, forward. If you don't do that, if you don't reverse and then go forward again, it could unravel, and you want these to be really strong. So I suggest doing it whenever you start and stop your stitches. It's actually the part where you really need to make sure that you stay even all the way through, because it'll be obvious for the outside and the back. On this one, not so much, because it's going to be on the inside. You're going to be able to see it, but whenever you're doing stitches that go on the outside, be super careful, because otherwise you come to your not acceptable. You may want to know, like, what length and width of fabric is this? I don't know. I just got a piece of fabric. Really, it depends how big you want your bag. And that's really the only... If you want a huge bag, get a huge piece of fabric. If you don't, make it smaller. Super simple that way. Just make sure it's a rectangle. Otherwise you have bones. Alright, so there's that. Scissor sound effects are optional, but suggested. Anyway, so that's what you're going for right there. It's a little bit thicker. Whoop. That's nice. It's not going to fray. It's going to stay super strong because you did backstitch on both of your parts. And all your edges should be done completely. I suggest taking this part right here and going over and making sure you snip all of these little pieces of string that are hanging on, you know, while you have it all laid out. You're looking in there and make sure it's nice and clean. It's going to help you down the line. Yeah, you're going to make more strings, but it's better to get this out of the way right now. Because some of these parts are going to be kind of tucked on the inside, and it's going to be more difficult to snip them later. Good. Stuck my finger. Alright. Now, I want you to fold them with the little lippy-madoos on the inside. First. Lippy-madoos. Match everything up. Okay, and then push it down, make sure everything's all matchy-matchy. Sort of important. Because this part is going to change, I mean, it's going to change what the outcome of the entire bag is. So, this is all nice and together now. I'm moving this out of the way, and hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. This is the only part that I actually have a pattern for, and basically it's just a square piece of paper. Make sure it's square. It's super important, length and width exactly the same. What I did was I took a piece of, wait for it, on this paper, printer paper, the braid is gone. I do not know where it is. It is not residing inside my head any longer. Take a piece of printer paper and I folded it over a couple times, and roll square, cut off the extra. I taped the edge so that it wouldn't shifting all the time, so I want to make sure that it stays in this shape. And then just lace back on your edge here. And I suggest just cut the top first. You know what? I really miss my snowman scissors. I wish I knew where they were. No scissors. That took off forever. I think it's better with snowman scissors. That's also a good rule for this. So I put the top first. Oh man, that's so cool. Okay. Now, here's the kind of iffy part. You want an edge like this on the inside when you sew up this part here, and I'll make sense later. So what you need is to give yourself that much room in fabric. So you cut to here. All right, that's right there. Take it up a little bit to where you think, you know, well, I can fold that over and sew it in, and then cut that off. It'd probably be even better if you know, say folded that amount on your pattern here, and so that when you cut that, you can fold that in and then cut it so that it's straight. Straight is super important for this part too. Oh, yay. Stick here. I really need to find out something to do with these guys. These little extra tiny bits of stuff. I feel horrible throwing them away. I've actually cleaned them. I don't know what else to do with them. So you're doing it the same on the other side, on the bottom. Exact same shape. Cut the top. This. Yeah, it'd probably be better if you wrote on it with, they make chalk to write on fabric that washes off, do that, and then cut it. Or pin the pattern down and then cut it. Because right now, I'm running the risk of this moving. You know, while I'm heading it, you run the risk of it sliding to the side, and then it does you no good off to the side. You good. You know what, there's residents in the building, there's no word. There's residents above me and below me, and then I think that I'm going, did I give myself enough room? Sure I did, I believe in myself. So there's that. The thing should now look like this. Strange little shape. It's like you're almost winning touching. On to the next part. This is all going towards the shape of how this is going to look. So turn this inside out. So that same shape you just had. I honestly think that you could probably start out with it turned inside out, right? Like this way. I do a lot of things that don't actually make any sense, except for to me. I do it that way every time. It's worked out. So there we go. Take your little machine, your little machine, and this very bottom right here, now that it's inside out, the lippy madoos are on the outside, so I'll line on the bottom here. And you're setting this up so that it will accordion fold. Do you really want your bag to fold? Or maybe you don't want it to fold flat, and you're like, whatever, I want my bag to feel bulgy and doing whatever it wants to, and not what I want it to do. So that's the kind of person I am. I'm up for a challenge. And I respect you. Good on you for loving challenges. I am here again, like, things used to be simple. And in that spirit of wanting things to be really, really simple, I've made making this bag slightly difficult, complicated. A word. I've made this bag a word. Alright. So you do the bottom seam, go back and forth, do a little reverse turn. And you start to stop it. Make sure that these are even all the way across. You're going to get an uneven back. Also, a good thing to do is watch what you're doing when you're sewing. Don't look at the camera. For other people, because then you run the risk of sewing up your fingers, and I have done that before, and it sucks. I only sold a finger. I sewed half of the finger. Luckily, because I realized what I was doing. Just stopped, but I've heard people who they were going so fast, they went right over their fingertips, which I'm just going to assume stinks a whole bunch. Alright, so you got the bottom, flipping it the other way, the lippy madoos are on the inside down, and these are all really easy, but, so, you've got that going on that side, so you're back to the T. Alright, and then fold this in, so the bottom is completely at the bottom, and all you have is a square. I don't want any of this to show on the other side. So completely a square. And sew that exact same way, your needle's in the middle, you want your stitch to be really close to the side, go back and forth. Super easy stuff. I did the other side, so if you did it correctly, it should do this. Amazing! Wait, I'll do it again. Super amazing! So, it'll now lay flat. Ooh. Now, this part, I have to think what I was doing. Alright. So now what you're going to do is, here's your top. There's your lippy madoo, just orienting you. And you take the side of this, and fold it in, make sure that it squares the top. You don't want it all wink, because that's not going to do you any good. So square the top, all the way down to the inside of your little cut there. So it should be like that. There's your little flap that you left when you cut out this thing. It's important to make sure that this is actually on the very inside of that cut. Again, because structurally, you need it. Just trust me on this. So there you go. And then now you're going to sew this all up. I don't know if I'm clicking today. It's like every day I have a new thing. And today's my clicking. So again, this is going to show on the outside, so again, make sure that you stay even all the way through. Don't be all wavy and crazy. It's going to be super obvious. It's not what you want. Unless, of course, that was your goal, and then that is what you want, and then who am I to tell you what you want? I mean, really, who am I? Just some random person. So there you go. Yep. Oh, and another news. I found my swim scissors. They're the sharpest things ever in the entire world. Let's, I don't know, just like, yay, so happy. It's happy to be cutting things for me. Nice. You're such a nice boy. So nice. Very upsetting. Extremely so. There we go. Come on now. Come on now. Don't be like this. Line up correctly. Yeah, I talk to inanimate objects a lot. Just about as much as I talk to just like myself. But I don't answer myself, so I figure that means I'm not quite crazy yet. Note the yet part. I usually give it a couple extra back and forths up at the top here, because this is going to be holding a lot of weight. This is the lip of your bag. And you want to make sure that that stays. Because if this goes up here, I mean, it's just going to go all the way down. It's going to wear the whole thing. So really give it some extra attention up there. Make sure that the sucker's going to stay together. When you're sewing, regardless of the fact that I'm going really, really fast, slow and steady wins the race. You know, and steady wins the race. The turtle mantra is actually extremely after us. Because if you go really fast, you can break your needle, you can break your machine. Neither of those are particularly fun. So, those needles are, I mean, they're not free, so. So there you go. Right now, you have got a square, and it's really starting to kind of look like a bag now instead of just a crazy box thing. So, everything's folded, it's like that now. Put it up in messy and in the back. Just like showing you things. I like to share. Do the exact same thing to the other side. So, now both of the sides are nice little squares, where everything folds up where it needs to be. I'm going to double check that before everything's tucked, every side's tucked in. Right, it's just a square down. Now you're going to go back to turn it inside out again. Because you need to sew these suckers together. So, we're lippy middies on the outside now. Line everything up. Just like that. Everything should line up. You've done this right. Make sure they're all lined up. Also, you need to make sure that you check. And sometimes these fold in and they're weird or whatever. Sometimes the corners here might be, you know, you're moving it around, things like that. That might tuck in. Really make sure you get in there, make sure that that's together. Because anytime you have like a bunch like that, it's going to break your needle. It's pretty much guaranteed to break your needle or gum up your machine. And I know that my brother would not be happy. Really. I didn't name my machine. I always name everything. I haven't named my machine. It's pretty sad. I use it all the time. Hers name is Jessica. And I love her. And I named her Jessica because she's like, I don't know, she always struck me as like a soccer mom vehicle. That seemed like enough name for that. But also I was watching Tote Bag Turtorial. And I love Jessica. And so that's what I named my car. And my car's not even red. It's green. So it doesn't really make any sense. But I do that one. But when new people are in my vehicle, they always get freaked out because I'll start yelling, Jessica, get with it, and it's just whatever, and they're like, ah, who are you talking to? But really, if my car would just behave, I wouldn't have to yell at it in the first place. So, there we go. So, you've got a little box now. Now you just need to do the bottoms are the sucky part. Like this. You're still inside. Your lippy middies are right here on the outside here. What you're going to do is kind of line that up like that. Make your little square shape. You can see that extra piece of fabric that we left here. And you're going to, and this is going to be kind of hard to show you like this, fold that down to the line. And then fold it over. It's going to look like that. That's really what you want, otherwise you're going to get this, it'll unravel on itself. And that's true with most fabrics, unless you have a serger. I suggest doing this. And if you do have a serger, lucky. I'm quite concentrated. This really is the most difficult part. Suggest, and if you can see this, you've made, this is your side right here, and there's a seam. Run your finger down the middle of it, flip that open. It's going to be just like that. That way it lays flat, it's not laying to one side or the other. Take it this way. that. And now, the fun bit. You're all finished. You did this side. Turn it inside out, or right side out. Right side out. And check out your beautiful work. There's strings everywhere that I'm going to cut. But I'll do it later. With any luck, you have just made a bunch. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Very fancy. Okay, so all this crazy stitching you did was for a good reason. I know that there's some stitchiness, some amazing stitchiness I could probably do here to make this fold a little bit better. It's just ironing it, but I know there's some way to get like a little triangle there, because I'm basing this pattern off of when I was a kid in elementary school. They had these little pints of milk, and the milk would fold up. You could tuck in the sides, and you could tuck at the bottom, and it would be good to sew. That's kind of what I based this on. I was trying to remember what that thing was. I seem to be there's a little triangle there, so I might be missing a bit. So just here. When you're folding it, do like that. Fold that in. Actually looks better. So I'll have it on the inside, just like that. And you're pretty much done. I have to just put a handle on here. You put each other handle on here. You remember I did this type, which was really easy to sew. And what I did was, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I put it on here to the edge of this. I sewed all the way around the edge of the square. Then I did across in the middle. So just go this way, that way, this way, across the top again, and then down here. And you will have a very secure thing. I think it looks good from this side too, a little X on it.